Alright, taking a look at my Ruger SR22 rifle, and in this video I am going to be installing a set of Iron Eagle tactical rails. I've got the 103B as in boy, got the 106B, another 106B, and a 106A. So this is my bottom rail, these are my two side rails, and this is my top rail. I had previously reviewed a set of Iron Eagle tactical rails for my used Ruger SR22 that I sold, and I had a rail that stopped somewhere about here so that I could mount a Harris bipod. I'm not gonna do the bipod route this time around, so I got a full length rail that has a little cutaway notch to accommodate this sling stud here. So let's go ahead and remove the original rail. I'm glad that Ruger included this so that you could mount a front sight. So that's nice that it's there and I don't have to go and buy something. I can just take it out of the box and shoot it. But this is the last thing in the world I would have ever purchased. I really don't like just a short rail here. I would have preferred an entire length here. And so that's what I purchased. I'm going to be taking this off and replacing this rail and adding 3 more to give it a quad rail. So let's go ahead and perform a safety check and promote that safe habit before we get started on the installation. I have nothing in the magazine well. I see nothing in the chamber. We're handling a safe firearm, so let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to remove my front sight with a 1/8 driver. And I'm going to remove the top rail with a 5/32 driver. Now, Iron Eagle Tactical gives you new mounting screws, so I don't need this rail or the screws that were attaching it. Let's start with a side rail. Now these rails have got some very nice features to them, and Larry, the owner of Iron Eagle Tactical, went to great length to tell me all the features about this. He was just a wealth of information on the Ruger SR22 and his product, the Iron Eagle Tactical rails here. So I kind of went over this in the previous video, but for those of you that haven't seen the original SR22 Iron Eagle Tactical video that I did last year, I'll go over that information again. So with a standard Picatinny rail, you have squared notches, and he does rounded notches. His purpose for that is when you put an accessory on, most of the time it is a round screw that is drawing into this, and he's got this so that it draws very snug and stays in place very nicely. You're not using a round screw in a square hole, you're using a round screw into a round hole, and that makes for a very nice installation of your accessories onto your rail. You also, on the side rails, have this little channel with some material milled out of the back of it, and the purpose of that, you can see that you've got 4 exit and entry points on the top and on the bottom. If you wanted to run a light or a laser that had a cord, you could mount your accessory, run your cord down into one of these entry points, back and out one of the exit points, and conceal your wire between your rail and your handguard, and that would keep wires from dangling off the side of your handguard and protect them. These rails are type 3 anodized, so they will kind of remove dead skin from your hands, and it'll look a little white to start with, but these are very high quality, well made rails. I'm very impressed with Iron Eagle Tactical's offerings. Kind of pricey, but you are getting what you pay for. I'm going to take a little bit of blue Loctite here and install these screws. Alright, so I've got both my side rails installed. Let's go ahead and set it up right here, or well, upside down, and install my lower rail. The lower rail also has that channel with the entry and exit points. You want to run some wire through there, and you can see how this is kind of notched out, and then this material is notched out here so that you can actually use your sling swivel stud. Alright, so there's the first 3 rails. Now let's set the upper rail on. Now they do offer several variants of their upper rail, so you have options for what size and style rail you want. They have a style like I have here that starts at the front and goes all the way to your existing rail. They also have one that starts at the front and stops off and matches in line with your side and under rail. They also have a rail that starts where your existing Picatinny rail is and continues on to about there, like an inch, inch and a quarter beyond the front of your handguard, to extend that sight radius out more than what you have with this sight. But I like the uniformity of this stopping with the rest of the other 3. So let's install these screws. Alright, so there is a close look at the installation of the Iron Eagle Tactical rails. They are well-made rails. I really like the way that the upper rail lines up with the existing Picatinny rail. Stay tuned to see the other upgrades I make to this rifle. It's a big world out there, and we're bound to run into a shady situation. Until then, keep your gear on you.
I'm really, really sorry. I apologize unreservedly. I offer a complete and utter retraction. The imputation was totally without basis in fact and was in no way fair comment, and was motivated purely by malice, and I deeply regret any distress that my comments may have caused you or your family, and I hereby undertake not to repeat any such slander at any time in the future.